How's that?
I got to warn you, we're already recording. Not that it matters. I can edit anything, which I don't typically edit. We don't plan anything. We don't do any kind of research. It's a wrestling show. We don't talk a lot of wrestling, so just bear with us here for the next.
The wrestling business is so
unbelievable. All right, so we are here today at Lila Studios, live, not really live, kind of live. What is today, Rip? June?
Wait a minute. How the fuck do I
don't know. June something? Here with Killer Kross. Killer Kross joining us here at Lila Studios. I'm assuming that's what you're going by again, right? Killer Kross? Is that good? Can we call you that?
Sure.
Oh, I'm Killer.
Killer. Mm-hmm. Rip always does a lot of research and always has all the tough questions to ask. If you don't want to answer any of Rip's questions,
just don't answer.
Don't answer them. That's fine.
I get my hair looking like Doc on Back to the Future again. All right.
Why didn't you wear a hat today, man?
Oh, it's in the car, and I left it. I left the Buddy Wayne hat in the car, and I left my book. I had Romer's book too, and I left that in there too.
Huh. Well, we'll plug him on our show, not his show. Okay. He's going to plug his stuff on his show.
Okay.
You know, not your stuff. All right, so let's get started here. I got on the big Wikipedia, you know, to do a little bit of research. So none
of that shit's real. Fuck, I used to have everything on Wikipedia had fucking wrong shit on there.
What was wrong about it?
Well, I
remember the one time it said you trained Randy Orton and Dre Blitz. Remember that?
No.
When it said that was awesome.
Wow.
Randy Orton and Dre Blitz they put together. So you're back in MLW, is that correct?
That's correct.
And doing some stuff in Japan too. Is that correct as well?
Yep.
That is awesome. So one of the things I like to do on here is kind of do first. We don't really go from necessarily your whole life story. I like to do a lot of first questions. It's kind of just my own personal choice. What was the first school that you went to? I did see that Disco trained you a little bit. Was that your first school, or where did you go first? That wasn't at the power plant at that time, was it?
No, it was Future Stars of Wrestling over in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Is that where you originally? You weren't from there, though, right?
No, I was born and raised in New York, and then I lived all over North America for a long time. And I was a professional sparring partner for a few people out in Vegas for MMA for the heavyweight team, and I was thinking about fighting pro. And I had gotten involved with the pro fight camps there, and I was really very much on the fence of just being able to fucking get rocking and rolling. And I just wasn't feeling fulfilled with the course of being a prize fighter. And I had been involved with that culture since I was a little kid. And I just started to, ask myself some serious questions. I'm like, okay, if I take a pro fight, I'm going to be fully committed to this for the rest of my life because that's how I am. And I just got real honest with myself. And I said, do I really want my income in my life to be solely based on confrontation? Because that's a hard fucking thing to take on. Like, that's not a hobby. You have to live in a place every day to be that guy, to be as sharp as you possibly can, or you're going to get your head blown off on fucking TV. And so it changes you being involved with that. I was involved with bare knuckle boxing when I was younger. And I just don't think, if I'm being honest with you, more honest than I'd probably like to be, I wasn't psychologically healthy doing that stuff.
Yeah. A lot of that comes down to wins and losses too, really.
It's 30% goes to the corner, and then they were killing sponsorships and endorsements on a lot of the cards. A lot of the shows were taking the sponsorships and endorsements from the major companies, and the guys weren't getting shit. And, I always wanted to be a pro wrestler, like ever since I was a little kid. It was the point when I would do 3 practices a day with the pro team. You'd get up, you'd do light sparring, you come back, you'd lift weights, and then in the evening you do technique, and then you do hard sparring, sometimes 5 to 7 days a week, depending on how much you keep up with it. And I was coming home between practices and watching All Japan Pro Wrestling instead of fights.
Nice.
And I was like, I need to let my ego go on this and stop worrying about what people my whole life were going to be thinking of me not pursuing this, because everyone was telling me I was going to be a world champion. Everyone was telling me, go to Vegas, you're going to fucking kill these guys. And I got there and I was like, I'm not enjoying this. And I would rather do what I want to do and not be concerned about how everyone else feels about it. And I went to FSW, and the first day I walked in, I knew it was over. I was hooked. And then I went from training like half the week MMA, half the week pro wrestling. And then the second week I was doing pro wrestling full time. That's all I needed to know. And that love of this has been with me since I was a little kid. So
how old were you when you went to your first wrestling training?
I was either 27 or 28.
Yeah, I got
prime of life, baby.
It's about, yeah. Rip, no matter how old you are, Rip says you're in the prime of life. You could be 90 and Rip say prime of life.
Hell, you know, I'm 68, so compared to this, prime of life, baby.
Well, you are in the prime of life, though.
Oh, yeah.
Rip fell asleep on the bike today at the gym. I'm not supposed to tell anybody.
That was yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
For 30 minutes.
30. So why do you think, you said maybe you're fighting even growing up. Why was wrestling not first? Why did you not? Because you were fighting at a younger age, you think, like the MMA style stuff, or
a couple of reasons. I mean, I was involved with martial arts, boxing, and wrestling through my family. My family was involved with it as well. They were training fighters, and like we watched it on TV, and everybody enjoyed it. But there was like a weird, misplaced macho thing going on in our family culture, where it's like, if you could do this for real, why the fuck would you let this guy beat you up? You could kill this guy. You know, that's the way they looked at it. They were just like, you could fucking smash people's heads in for real. You want your grandfather to see you, you know, in your underwear on TV, rolling around with these fucking idiots. Like, they had that sort of mentality towards it. Now, to me, it was just like, that's not the way I look at this. The way I look at this is this is a beautiful spectacle of three people in a ring. The whole building is just surrounded, like the Coliseum, like the storytelling, the spectacle, being able to elicit the emotional response. These are the things that were drawing me to it. I was magnetized to this as a kid and throughout my whole life. That's the way I looked at it. And I was aware that some people look at wrestling as just this big, ridiculous thing. And I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I like what I like, and it's not predicated on what other people like or their opinions. I didn't care. And so I didn't really have, I guess, the support as a young man from my core group to pursue wrestling. And I was also involved with bodyguarding. I was a director of nightlife security operations for the city of Las Vegas for a lot of nightclubs and stuff like that. I was running my own teams. I was hiring people. So I had money. But then, you know, as I've said before, you get to a point in life, if you're financially comfortable, you're like, okay, I've got my finances in order. You know, I'm from the working class. I came up in the way where you had to look at your checking account before you decide to go to fucking Starbucks or just spend money frivolously. Like, I measured every penny I had, and I was like, okay, I'm past that point now. And I'm not fulfilled. Like, I can do this bodyguard shit, and I could bounce, and I can run teams, and I could be a director for the rest of my life. Am I going to be happy doing that? It was sort of like the same measurement I took with MMA. And I was like, what did I want to do my whole life before all of these things that I've been involved with, you know, began to pick up momentum? It was always wrestling. So that's pretty much why I was financially stable and comfortable. And honestly, I didn't think I was big enough to be the pro wrestler that I wanted to be growing up as well. Because
you are now.
Yeah, I am now. I was gigantic. They looked gigantic to me on television. I was like, if I became a wrestler, I would be like a guy who's getting the shit kicked out of him. And, you know, like, I don't know how this sounds, but like, that's not the sort of career that I wanted to have. That was not the career I envisioned for myself, to be somebody who just got the shit kicked out of them for a living. Like, I would rather not do it. You know what I mean? That was just where I was at. So,
yeah, they wrestlers were definitely bigger at one time, right, Rip?
Well, when I was a kid, they'd have some guy in there weighed 185 pounds. They said he was 237 and a half pounds. You know, I mean, everybody's got their real weight and their working weight.
True.
Just like in basketball, the guy's 6'9", he says he's 7'1", you know.
Right. But I mean, there were some territories back when you were working, like Memphis, for example, where I bet those guys most of them really weren't that big, but WWF, and especially in the 90s, I mean, those guys were 6'4", 285. Like,
see, Vince Sr. was a freak. Everybody worked the old WWF. There was a big man's territory. They all wanted to, like when Bruno was a champion, they all wanted the heels to be 300 pounds. So that right away there's a David and Goliath. Now Bruno's got sympathy, even though he's been champion for 13 years, whatever the hell it was. But he was a sympathetic character, and then they always get on him about his ethnicity. So it was everything they got on to get heat with. You can't do anymore. Well, so you wonder why wrestling don't fucking draw. besides fucking diving for no goddamn fucking reason. Jesus fucking Christ. I got to get all my fucking shit in. I got to have 33 false finishes, all 2.9. So then I can say, this is awesome. We can pose in the dressing room afterwards and say, hey, book us. Fuck off. Jesus Christ.
Are you a big diver?
Not really.
He can't get through the ropes. He's too broad now.
Do you remember anybody from your first class?
I remember everybody from my first class.
Yeah.
I really do.
What was so you already talked about, you were already in fighting, talked about going, and you said when you went there, I think, so you were comfortable. Like you knew that was what you wanted to do after that. Like watching wrestling growing up.
This might sound silly, but it's the truth. So I'll just say it. When they had WWE Tough Enough on TV,
yeah,
I don't necessarily think, this is just my opinion, I don't necessarily think that WWE's produced television Tough Enough is an accurate representation of what actually happens in wrestling training. That's a condensed televised version, right? There's a lot more that goes into it. But the one thing I did pick up out of that I prepared myself for before I ever went to a wrestling school was like, they were treating it like it was the military. And I have military and army in my family. So we had sort of a militant, we're all jokers in the house, but we had a militant energy in the house. You get up in the morning, you make sure everybody in the house has fucking coffee and eggs. You keep it positive in the morning and, you train hard. And, if your mother or your grandmother happens to cook dinner, no one's asking you to get up after, but you get your ass in the kitchen, you clean the dishes for her. And like, that was just how I grew up. So like, I kind of came into a wrestling school trying to understand before I got there, the etiquette and the commitment that they were going to be looking for. Like, I'll never forget that one time it was on an episode where Triple H walked in and he just told people the way it was going to fucking be. And he basically, I think his go home line by the end of the segment was, don't waste our fucking time. And he was having them take bumps and he was showing them the sort of level and commitment and intensity for selling shots and stuff like that. And that resonated with me into my 20s because I was very young when that was released. I was a teenager. That resonated with me. It's like, they don't fuck around at these schools. So there's a million people that are going to come in. Very few are going to make it. If you want to be one of those people, you need to have 110% commitment every day. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. If you're sick or you're fucking hurt or whatever, like there's people that will replace you. And you need to be next to perfect in order to kind of get ahead. And I just did my best to commit into that direction every time I went in.
So did that place run shows, or where was your first match? Who was your first match with?
The very first match I had was the very first month I started training, and it was very easy. They gave me something simple. It was a battle royal. And it was in May of 2014 at Sam's Town Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It was a Future Stars Wrestling anniversary show. And it was dead easy. You know what I mean? Without killing some of the magic, talking about the dynamics of how you build and create that, there's just not a lot that you have to retain. You just get to go in the ring and work organically. So, and that's like the ideal type of thing you should want when you're just getting your feet wet in wrestling. You don't want to have to retain all of these memorized choreographed spots. You want to be able to get in there, be comfortable in front of an audience, be comfortable with the people in the ring, understand who's in there, the footwork, and don't hurt anybody, don't get yourself hurt, and do your best to listen to the crowd, which obviously takes years to do. You have to get many, many reps in order to really learn which direction you should be going in based on how they're responding to what they're seeing. But it was a really good experience. And I just knew I was hooked.
Yeah, it was awesome. My first was also a battle royal. Rip put me in after I bugged him for about 5 years. One night he said, "All right, you're in there, kid. No training, no nothing." Had everybody beat me almost half to death. Then he just laughed. Mm-hmm. And it was the time of my life, though, man. It was awesome. Think any better than that, did it? Steel Man was in there. It was great. He said, one guy said, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And I was like, okay, good. I said something to Rib and he goes, "You don't know what I'll take care of you means, do you?" I was like, oh, shit. I was like, uh-oh. I don't know if I want to get in there now.
He's just going to set you on fire and hit you with a chair.
Yeah. Didn't have to go that far. But they chopped me about 30 times, I bet.
Oh God, I remember when we had Matt Morgan in that Battle Royal in Seymour that one time. And every time he turned around, somebody would chop him from behind. And I'd be like in a headlock. I just pull myself out and hit him and put myself back in the headlock. Yeah. We just beat the shit out of him. He was so fucking mad he didn't know who to hit.
Yeah, and then at the second one I was ever in, which second, Flash Flanagan went to throw me out, but fake threw me out, so he let go of me, so then it looked like I was trying to jump out. So then somebody else caught me, and you chicken shit, why are you trying to jump out of the ring? And I was just trying to actually work with him, and they fucked me up big time, but it was fun. So where did you go? Global was after that. Did you jump on with the Jarrett deal? Was that Global Force or?
I worked a series of independents in the area. Just in the West Side for a while. I think the very first technically East Coast area I worked was the Carolinas. And then, Jeff Jarrett he started running shows in Vegas for Global Force, and he had me involved with the beginning of that, which was very fun. And I made friends there that I think I still talk to this day. Chris Masters if I didn't meet Chris Masters at a show right before Global Force, I met him there. We may have worked before Global Force, actually. Him and I sent Rip a picture, actually, privately, not online after the match, just to say hello. But, I believe the next thing that I did after that was Global Force. And I may have done something with IGF, which was Inoki Genome Federation. That was half shoot, half work. Inoki was trying to warm guys up from the shoot world into pro wrestling. And if you had a shoot background and you were already ahead in pro wrestling, he would kind of ask us to help walk these guys to where he'd like them to be. So that was a cool experience as well. So I think I was doing both of those around the same time.
So you were catching on pretty quick then. Like you weren't training very long before you started getting some pretty good bookings.
Yeah, I would say so. And I do attribute that to, I'm like a very committed person with anything. I get very obsessive when I'm in love with something, whatever it be. And I was there 5 days a week. No one asked me to show up. I wanted to be there. I was the first one there, last one to leave. And it even got to the point where I was like, I was hooked, man. I asked the owner of the school if I can get a key to the front door because he was closed Saturdays and Sundays. And I was like, I just want to come in here and I just want to continue to get climatized to the canvas and just really learn how my body feels when I'm doing things in the ring. And I promise you, I'll be completely accountable for anything that happens at the building. You don't have to worry about me. I want to fucking be here. And I wasn't saying that because I thought that was something I was supposed to say to be a kiss ass or try to get over on anybody. I knew because of the way I looked and I was very comfortable doing public speaking that I was going to get pushed. And the worst possible thing that could ever happen to a wrestler is somebody with potential getting pushed before they're ready for it could be their demise before things even get started. So I knew I needed to fucking catch up. And that's always going to be on me. I needed to catch up to where people were at. And I needed to put in as much time as I could. And so I just chased any opportunity I could possibly get. I didn't say no to anything.
So did you get the key?
Oh, I did. Still have it to this day. I don't even live there anymore. I kept it.
Nice. So tell us about meeting Rip. You remember meeting Rip by chance?
Of course. I was in Toronto, Canada for a show. He was teaching a seminar at Anthony Corelli's, and he covered all of the basics for people who were coming in from completely zero, and then he covered intermediate stuff, which was basically selling and promos and stuff like that. He covered character presentation. He covered the structure of what a promo is supposed to be and what you're actually supposed to be doing with it, and the functionality of understanding that you shouldn't be going in there and doing late 90s shit where you just tear your opponent down for a pop. And then if he goes over on you, you look like an asshole, because if you got the audience to buy in that he's worthless, then you're also worthless going on. And he explained the functionality and value of everything. And then he was actually teaching how to work 1 hour matches, which I thought was really fascinating. And to this day, I've been to maybe 20 seminars over the last 8 years. No one has ever taught how to work a 1 hour match ever. More than likely because they don't know how, or they, are just not committed, perhaps as Rip is, to giving a good seminar. I've been to seminars where people phone shit in, And not to put him over because he's here, he didn't phone anything in. He gave everybody 100%. And it was to a degree where a lot of people were not ready for it. You know what I mean? They were
not too many people are ready for an hour match. I mean, he would do it at OVW and I would always hide. I'd do the head down, turn my head, anything I could do to not be picked for the hour match. Were you included in any of those?
Well, I participated in the whole seminar, but in terms of doing an hour match, the only people who have ever wanted to do 1 hour matches with me were people who I'd known for many years. I knew I wasn't going to, fuck them up or get blown, and then the match was going to stink. And it's only been 2 or 3 people, and it's been on the end. Like when you have reps in with somebody and they know your timing and you know their timing, I'll get there. Maybe we were slated for 15 minutes, and just because I want to do it, because I like working with the guy, I would ask him, hey, dude, how are you feeling? Like, are you sore? How was the plane flight? Do you have anything bothering you? Would you like to go an hour tonight? They're usually like, what's wrong with you? And I'd be like, I like working with you and I don't ever do this. And I think it would be cool since you and I are here. We're probably not going to do this again for a while. Or in the event that television one day wants you to work an hour match in Iron Man, it would be good to know in the back of your mind, you have the mental confidence to know I've been there before. And it's not going to be a problem when there's real money on the line and the whole world's watching that you can do it. So
what year would have that been? Had you already been like an Impact or anything at that time, or
I got 2 or 3 1 hour matches into the Indies.
I mean, when you met Rip.
Oh, I want to say maybe 2016.
Oh, so it was.
Yeah, it was at least 5 years ago. Yeah.
What's your recollection of that, Rip? And then what started the hour matches anyway? You didn't always teach those, I don't think. How did that all come about?
I don't know. I just started doing them because if you can do an hour, you can do anything. Because you can work the whole goddamn body. So automatically you're used to doing an arm, leg, neck, stomach, back for your heat or whatever. And use it as an isolation and offensive. Working a headlock, a fucking hammerlock, a goddamn arm, a leg, the neck, whatever you're wanting to do with that. Then you learn how to meat fucking chop. Then you learn to put your timing together. But an hour Broadway is basically 6 goddamn matches in one is what it is. And then now you're comfortable in anything. Remember when I do DCW and I put heat on this, work this offensively. And then it would just flow because you knew how to do it. That's why we worked on every body part every day. That's why we trained for a goddamn hour. That's why we got heat on every goddamn body part. So you could do it in a goddamn fucking sleep. But,
that was something I neglected to mention too. He was teaching how to do that on the fly as well. Just being able to communicate in the private manner that we do in the ring, where you get there fucking late, or somebody's flight's delayed or something, and you have 5 minutes. In a catastrophic situation, an apocalyptic situation, where you have 5 minutes to put something together. You can go out there and work as long as you want, as long as you need to, as long as the promoter's asking. And that seminar, and I told him at the time too. This isn't new to him. But I told him at the time that expanded my mind. Just the one seminar that I had with him years ago, I found a new confidence and a new comprehension of what I was doing. I had new eyes on everything I was watching on television. I'd go back and watch stuff that I watched dozens of times and I watched it differently. I had a breakthrough moment from that seminar, and my confidence went through the roof. And I started, not that I was ever difficult to work with, but I started to get consistent compliments from new people I was working with all the time, going, "You're the easiest fucking person I've ever worked with." And when I go back and I watch the footage on the roaming cameras, it looks like you're murdering me. And I got up that morning and I trained and I went to work and got on flight and I was able to play with my kids. It's like, I work with you 7 days a week. That was some of the best compliments I'd ever gotten. And it was just from, listening to what he's saying. And he's not throwing words to the wind in these seminars. He is explaining to you, how you can do this for a living consistently and get a lot of mileage and longevity out of what you're doing. I haven't ever been to a seminar that's been that comprehensive and functionally useful ever again. And I've been to a lot after that.
Shit, I can't even use the goddamn words he's using. He talks like a goddamn college professor. And everybody that's in the wrestling business, their goals, their dreams, how they like it, how they love it, how they got hooked, it's all different, but it's all the same. That's just a different way of finding your goddamn fucking passion. And it's like a fucking brotherhood when you can get in there and hey, this is what happened in your match. If you did this, it'd be a little bit easier. You don't have to do all that stuff. All I gotta do is poke you in the eye one time. Now you're helpless. Now I can size you up. You're still selling your goddamn eye, and I get your knee, or I get you in the back, and anything. Then I start heat. What did you? Oh, I poked you in the eye. Now you're helpless. Now I can recover and set you up to get my goddamn heat on you and beat the fuck out of you. It's so fucking easy and simple. We got to do our fucking spots. We got to get our shit in. Fuck off. You know what the finish is of any match. Now book it backwards. If you're winning, I'm going to take more because it's going to be a competitive match. If you're losing, then I'm going to make you look like goddamn Ricky Steamboat in his fucking prime then. But loving this fucking shit, having a passion for it, he's talking goddamn. That sounds like a goddamn college professor. But then he get on there talking about fucking Triple H on that fucking Tough Enough shit, which I wanted to, if I had a goddamn bomb, I'd have blown that fucking building up. Motherfuckers exposing the goddamn fucking business, killing the fucking business, and then go in and say, oh no, this ain't fucking real. Fuck you motherfuckers. It's real to me, goddamn it. And treat it as fucking such. That's why you don't fucking draw. That's why they got beach balls going, saying this is fucking awesome. Oh, he deserves his fucking push. Fuck you, you fucking mark. Pay your goddamn money. I don't book what you fucking want. I book what you don't fucking want. You can't wait to come back next time. I'll get him this time. Fuck you.
Is that why you wore them? Did he stand out to you at the seminar? Do you remember any of the seminar? Sometimes you remember 30 years ago, and sometimes you don't remember 30 seconds ago. So I never know. I never know where we're at on this.
Well, if not, I wouldn't have brought the fucker up.
Okay. All right. Well, you know.
Fuck. He wasn't as big then. God damn. Now he's Jackosaurus or whatever. He's so fucking big. How much weight did you gain?
Since that seminar, probably maybe 20 to 25 pounds.
I was going to say 20, 25. I said, yeah.
Damn. So when I was growing up, I was involved with boxing and a lot of like jiu-jitsu and catch wrestling from my household. My father won a gold medal either in the Pan Am Games of 89 or 91. I was very young for Puerto Rico. Oh. And so he was involved with wrestling and he blew his knee out as any high-level athlete can. And he needed to make money. So he started training guys. And so that was kind of like where my roots came from. And they always told me growing up, my father was like, don't worry about getting big. He's like, the more muscle you have, the more oxygen it's going to take away from your heart and respiratory system. You're going to look great. But if you get in a real life situation and an altercation with somebody who knows what they're doing, they're going to grind you out and they're going to fucking kill you on the street. So don't be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Don't go lifting weights. He's like, if you want to do weightlifting, just do body work. I want you to do 500 jump squats. I want you to do chin-ups and pull-ups. I want you to do 100 push-ups. He wanted me to be more functional. He wanted me to be strong. He just didn't want me to get big. And so it wasn't until I was in my late 20s when I really started learning how to isolate body parts with weightlifting. I know that sounds crazy, but like I knew how to train like a boxer. I didn't know how to lift weights like a wrestler, a pro wrestler, and like actually learn how to change my body composition. Volumizing, hypertrophy. I was discouraged my whole life from doing stuff like that. So when I learned how to do like compound movements, like squat under a bar and deadlift and bench and do military press, that really changed my whole body. And I was usually always under eating and overtraining because I didn't know any better. I was too shy to ask questions. Once I learned how to do that, it took me about, I don't know, I'd say 3.5 to 5 years to really understand how my body's going to respond to weightlifting and eating properly. And then, my wind is not as good as it used to be when I was 180 pounds, but I know how to manage it by being comfortable and relaxed in the ring. I know where my heart rate is supposed to be. I know how to relax and visualize the process of it. And I never get blown up. I mean, I'll get pretty fucking close, you know what I mean? But I understand how to pace it, control it if Gorilla's not telling me to change speeds. So to the referee.
Rip was one of the original bodyweight guys. Like you did all that stuff, man. What was the squats for an hour? What'd you do on TV? That was
on Smoky Mountain TV. Yeah, but I did 5,000 free squats in a row. I took 2.5 hours. Then I got off on a bench and did 5,000 knee pull-ins in a row just to do it.
Wow.
I got in 12 contests in 18 months, which is impossible. Clean. 1, 2, trained every body part. I trained every body part every day for 40 some years.
Jesus.
And
was it Cornette that called you and asked you if you could still do them?
Yeah, yeah. Cornette called me on the phone at home. He said, "Rip, can you do those squats for an hour?" I said, "Hey, call me back in about an hour 10." He goes, "Okay." He called back. He says, "Hey, I wanted to ask you." I said, "Can you do them squats?" I said, "Yeah, I just did them." He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I hadn't had a goal to do them for an hour, so I just did it." Yeah, it was all a fucking rib. Muscle memory. If you're used to it, it ain't no big fucking deal, right?
Right.
And when you do, I used to do 2,000 every day, no matter what. Work out about 5 hours a fucking day. And it was just no matter, get up early, get it fucking done. You feel fucking great the whole day. If not, I'm a fucking nut because I haven't had my fucking rush.
I get that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I gotta have that fucking rush.
Yeah.
I'd see Rip at the gym. He have a note card every day with like abs, squats, and do the tally mark for every set of 100 or whatever you were doing. He would do like 2,000 of each one and then have a rally burger and a Diet Coke.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I still think body weight stuff is really the best preparation for in-ring stuff because it doesn't mess with your mobility. Like the bigger I've gotten over the years, I've gotten tighter in areas. I'm not as explosive as I used to be from where I was before I was like, considered a weightlifter. There's a trade-off to chase aesthetics and body composition and getting bigger. You know what I mean? And the way I'm
getting older too, man.
Hey, listen, bro.
Prime of life. Fucking prime of life.
It's called old age, man.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, though, doing lots of deadlifts and squats like that, they do make your hips tighter. You have to actively stretch during the week. But anytime anyone ever asks me what sort of training advice I have for them, like kids who are interested in getting involved, I always tell them body weight stuff. And I was like, yeah, you're going to make more money and maybe faster money if, you have a body composition that looks like, something out of the comic books or Marvel or something on TV, or you look at the bodybuilder, but like, you're now going to have to develop a style that's going to complement what you're able to do versus having maybe a larger repertoire and maybe feeling healthier, in general. If you can get your body, let me use this example. So there's a lot of guys on NXT right now who are very, very lean, but they're not very big. And I think that's actually okay, because if you look at a lot of Olympic amateur wrestlers, the entire division of Olympic wrestlers are not all heavyweights. And on TV, they look incredible. I think as long as you look like an athlete, I think you're good. You know what I mean? And you develop an in-style ring repertoire that is going to, looks like it makes sense in relation to how you look, right? I'm 6'4", so I wanted to fill out, and I'm happy that I did it. But I will tell you, I mean, I was much more explosive at 180 pounds.
Yeah,
much more explosive.
Yeah, I never seen a guy look like Arnold that could fight.
Yep, never. Me neither. You see bodybuilders come into
right.
I'm still doing grappling and jiu-jitsu, and I kickbox recreationally just because I enjoy it. But anytime you ever see these bodybuilder guys or these guys juiced out of their minds coming into the gym going, I want to train, I think I got this thing, I want to fight. And it's just like, okay, and they put the gloves on and they're blown in a minute and the round is 5 minutes. And now you got to walk these fucking idiots for 4 minutes and they're dead. They give up. Sometimes they don't even finish the first round. Or like, the jiu-jitsu guys, these guys are on all these synthetic hormones and they think they want to fight. They think they want to go on TV and be a professional fighter, but it's just the hormones in their system. As soon as you get them tired, they turn into little kids. You can beat the shit out of these people. It is true. 9 times out of 10, most guys that, look like bodybuilders and all jacked up. There is no genuine interest of pursuing competing. They're raged out.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we are under 5 minutes. We've got about 4 minutes left here. And we're on a wrestling show. We really haven't talked any wrestling, and that's pretty common, I think, for this show. But
yeah, I don't. Fucking pro wrestling's dead. Get real.
If you got anything you want to plug or anything that you got coming up here soon, this would be a great time to do it before we run out of time.
Well, I will say this weekend, I will be in Ohio for a convention called Toy-Hio. So if there's any listeners who have kids and they're interested in playing with toys, or you're a collector or something like that, Scarlett and I are going to be there doing a meet and greet. And then the following day, we're going to be in Los Angeles for a show called Circle 6, and I will be competing against the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, who, by the way, awesome. Since we're talking about mobility, he is a big motherfucker who can move much better than 99% of the heavyweights on the planet. He can move. He's one of the, he's one of the Samoans out of the schools from California, and the stuff he can do at his size is remarkable.
I actually did watch him, and what's his name? Hammerstone. I think it was their last match I watched. It was, he can do some stuff for sure. Oh, yeah. We obviously didn't even get to like Impact or your NXT, WWE run, all that kind of stuff. What do you think the future holds? How old are you? 36, 38? How old are you? 36? Something like that? Prime of life. You don't tell your age?
28.
21. What's your future hold? Are your doors closed with some of those places you left, or are you just open for anything in the future? Do you think wrestling is still your future, or you got other things lined up?
I've had a lot of movie and television scripts submitted to me. I've had a lot of people reach out to me since they've seen my material on NXT. They've seen how I've been able to narrate and do monologues and promos and stuff like that. And, I'm very fortunate and very grateful for my time there. And it's provided me with a new platform for people to see me. And I think I'm going to be doing a couple films over the next year and a half. Once you accept something and you sign the deal memo, there's a whole process that needs to take place from the time you sign to the time you get on set. And there's a lot of moving parts. I don't know when this stuff is going to begin filming. If they say at the end of the year, who knows when it'll be released by then. But I am interested in maybe making some new fans through film and television and bringing them back to pro wrestling. That was something I always wanted to do. I've always been interested in creating new fans. I want to, I'm old school. I would like to make this a better place, leaving it than it was when I got in. I believe that. I really believe that. And I'm definitely always going to be involved in pro wrestling. I don't think this is ever going to be out of my system. And I'd be interested in going anywhere as long as creatively I feel like this is something that people will really care about. I don't want to just take somebody's money and come in and do something. Personally and spiritually, where I'm at in my life, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing this to set myself up for retirement. I'm doing this because I fucking love it. And I have other sources of income. And I don't feel like I'm in a position where I hate this and this is the only thing I can do. I still fucking love this. I'm always going to love it. I know what it is, and I'm going to preserve it as best I can.
I know Rip likes to hear that. You love people that love pro wrestling, right? Even though you just said it's dead. In reality.
Well, it ain't their fault. It's the goddamn it's the bigwigs' fault. If you're WWE, the leader of the goddamn fucking industry, and you get on there and have guys doing the same shit every fucking match, it's fucked up. I watch a goddamn basketball game because like the playoffs in the goddamn NBA. Every game's nip and tuck. One team's ahead, the other team's ahead.
We got 30 seconds, Rip.
Anyway.
Oh, no.
We got 30 seconds, so I can't say shit. What the fuck did you say that for then?
I'm just giving you a warning, man. It's like giving you the cues,
Well, you could have given me the fucking Iggy on the fucking leg. Yeah, quit playing my fucking leg.